Welcome back to my channel. Today we will learn about the issue that is shaking up the very foundations of the families at the heart of CBS's The Bold and the Beautiful. The latest storyline dives into the emotional turmoil, profound secrets, and heartbreaking confessions that promise to alter lives forever. The Bold and the Beautiful spoilers reveal that Liam Spencer finds himself in the most challenging and emotional phase of his life. Battling a severe illness that has rapidly deteriorated his health, Liam is now standing on the brink of death, haunted by overwhelming guilt and an unbearable sense of emptiness. Liam, once strong and self-assured, now feels helpless, trapped in a body that continues to betray him, making him a burden to those he loves dearly. The pain and anguish Liam experiences go beyond mere physical suffering. It's deeply rooted in his psychological torment, which has worsened under the heavy burden of his secret. Finn, meanwhile, remains determined and steadfast in his pursuit to save Liam's life at any cost. Ever the committed doctor and devoted family man, Finn spends endless hours researching new medical techniques, tirelessly searching for the smallest glimmer of hope that could potentially bring Liam back from the brink of death. Finn's dedication is driven by his unwavering compassion, commitment to medicine, and an innate desire to restore happiness to those around him, especially his wife Steffi, who remains deeply attached to Liam, both emotionally and historically. Yet Liam, amidst all this medical attention and care, struggles with a truth he's held tightly within himself for 3 agonizing years, a secret he fears may devastate everyone he loves, particularly Finn. Haunted daily by this secret, Liam realizes that, as death looms closer, he cannot carry this burden to his grave. To ease his tortured soul, he makes the gut-wrenching decision to confront Finn directly and reveal the truth he has concealed for too long. Liam arranges to speak privately with Finn, setting a scene charged with tension and emotional intensity. Gathering every ounce of courage, Liam looks Finn directly in the eyes and finally utters the words that will change both of their lives irreversibly. Hayes is not Finn's biological son. Instead, Liam himself is the real father of the little boy who has brought such joy and fulfillment to Finn and Steffi's lives. The revelation sends shockwaves through Finn. Flashbacks flood his mind, recounting the complicated timeline and events of 3 years ago when Steffi and Finn were at the height of their passionate romance, poised to begin a new life together. But their happiness had been shattered briefly when Steffi committed a tragic mistake. She had succumbed to temptation and slept with Liam in a moment of weakness, leading to confusion, heartache, and questions about paternity when she discovered her pregnancy soon afterward. At the time, DNA tests were quickly conducted, seemingly resolving the crisis definitively. Those tests had categorically indicated Finn was the biological father, a relief that healed the fractured relationship and restored harmony to the couple. The news allowed Finn and Steffi to move forward, free of doubt and prepared to build their family and future around baby Hayes. However, Liam now confesses that he manipulated the DNA results, a desperate act born out of fear, insecurity, and his own inability to let go of Steffi and their complicated history. As Liam recounts this dark chapter of deceit, his voice trembles, filled with remorse and sorrow. He acknowledges the devastating ripple effects his actions have caused, profoundly apologizing to Finn for robbing him of the truth. Liam's admission reveals the depth of his internal struggle, the bitter conflict of loving his children and wanting to claim his son, while desperately hoping not to shatter the fragile happiness Finn and Steffi have built. This heart-wrenching moment sees 2 men, both honorable, both loving, but now caught in the tangled web of betrayal and manipulation, facing each other with honesty for the first time. Finn, though profoundly stunned by Liam's confession, absorbs the shock with admirable composure. Finn's initial response is a quiet yet deeply felt gratitude towards Liam for finally sharing the truth, understanding the monumental difficulty Liam faced in coming forward. Despite the personal anguish he feels, Finn's character remains strong and compassionate, driven by his protective instincts for his family. However, Finn instantly recognizes the catastrophic implications should this revelation become public knowledge. He knows full well the damage it would inflict on his marriage, his family, and especially Steffi, who would be forced to confront the reality of a painful past she believed long settled. Finn makes an immediate, albeit painful, request. He pleads with Liam to maintain secrecy, begging him to protect Steffi and Hayes from the devastating aftermath that would inevitably follow such a disclosure. Finn passionately explains how revealing this secret would upend their lives, threaten their happiness, and destroy the stability they'd painstakingly nurtured. He emphasizes the powerful bonds of family and love that now firmly bind them all together, reminding Liam of the irreversible damage this truth could bring to Hayes' future and the lives around him. Liam, though struggling immensely, sees the logic and compassion behind Finn's request. Yet, internally, he remains tormented, caught between the ethical obligation to disclose the truth and the emotional duty he feels towards those he loves. Liam's inner turmoil heightens dramatically as he contemplates the morality of Finn's request versus the greater good, wrestling deeply with his conscience over what is best for Hayes' future. His own physical decline, now accelerating rapidly, adds a pressing urgency to his decision, forcing him to reflect carefully on how his legacy, truthfulness, and love for Hayes will be remembered. Meanwhile, Finn carries the newly learned truth with heaviness, weighed down by the moral dilemma that has landed squarely on his shoulders. The pressure of continuing to present himself as Hayes' biological father, knowing the truth, tests the strength of his character. It forces him into a deeply private, internal battle, balancing his protective instincts with an inherent sense of honesty. Finn struggles to justify perpetuating a falsehood to his family, yet fears the irrevocable damage that truth would inevitably cause. This turmoil begins to gnaw at Finn's conscience and affects his relationships and interactions subtly yet perceptibly. Simultaneously, Steffi senses that something is profoundly wrong. Her intuitive nature, sharpened by years of emotional upheaval, picks up on subtle behavioral changes in both Liam and Finn. While unable to identify the exact problem, Steffi feels a growing sense of anxiety and suspicion. Unbeknownst to her, the two most significant men in her life are locked in a painful battle of conscience and secrecy, both driven by intense emotions of love, protection, and remorse. Steffi's emotional radar begins signaling distress, sensing the fragility of their seemingly idyllic life, which suddenly seems teetering on the edge of unraveling. As Liam's condition worsens, the urgency surrounding his medical situation intensifies dramatically. Finn throws himself deeper into medical research, driven by determination to find a solution that might yet save Liam, not only from physical death but perhaps from emotional despair as well. But time is running desperately short, and the pressure mounts for both men. Liam's health decline serves as a constant reminder of the finite moments left for resolution, intensifying the emotional stakes to nearly unbearable levels. Liam continues wrestling internally, grappling with whether he can truly honor Finn's request for secrecy or whether the moral imperative demands he publicly claim Hayes as his son before it's too late. For Liam, each passing day marks not only the physical deterioration but also an escalating urgency of the decision that will define his final legacy. Finn, burdened by the secret, finds himself increasingly torn between professional integrity, personal honor, and profound paternal love for Hayes. As he holds the child he's now painfully aware isn't biologically his, Finn battles the overwhelming emotion of profound love mixed with deep sadness and confusion. Finn understands that biology alone does not define fatherhood, love, care, and dedication do, traits he unquestionably embodies. Yet the unsettling truth haunts him persistently. Steffi, growing ever more suspicious, struggles to cope with her anxiety, sensing an invisible threat looming closer yet failing to pinpoint its origin. The stability of her world, built meticulously over years, suddenly appears perilously close to collapse. With each passing episode, this explosive storyline continues to grip viewers, promising more emotional turmoil, ethical complexities, and dramatic twists that are hallmarks of The Bold and the Beautiful. This plot brilliantly captures the core themes of family, love, betrayal, and redemption, setting the stage for compelling future developments. Next, we're diving deep into the tangled web of relationships, power struggles, and emotional reckonings that have recently rocked The Bold and the Beautiful. Let's unravel the latest drama, focusing on Hope Logan's controversial journey, her fraught family ties, and the seismic shifts at Forrester Creations. The Daily Pulse, fans react and speculate. Every day, The Bold and the Beautiful fandom lights up social media with passionate debates and sharp critiques. Lately, the focus has been on Hope Logan's role as a mother, with some viewers expressing dismay over her apparent emotional distance from her children. The absence of Beth and Douglas in recent storylines has not gone unnoticed. One fan lamented, "Kelly actually gets bits of screen time. I don't think we've seen Beth since her birthday." This sentiment echoes a broader frustration. While other characters, like Steffi, are shown actively parenting, Hope's maternal presence seems to have faded from the screen. This has led to a flurry of online commentary, with some suggesting that the show's writers have sidelined Hope's family life in favor of more sensational plots. Others wonder if this is a deliberate narrative choice, perhaps foreshadowing a dramatic reunion or a reckoning for Hope's character. The speculation keeps fans tuning in, eager to see if Hope will reclaim her role as a devoted mother or continue down her current path. The community's verdict: is Hope a negligent mother? The question of Hope's parenting has become a lightning rod for viewers. Critics argue that she has all but forgotten Douglas, who now lives in Paris with his father, Thomas Forrester, and his stepmother, Paris Buckingham. Brooke brought him up a few weeks ago. "I'm so disgusted with how the show has treated Douglas and Hope last year. That is her favorite child and he can't even come visit now? The writers suck," one fan vented online. Others point out that Hope rarely mentions Beth either, contrasting her silence with Steffi's visible concern for her own children. This has led some to accuse the writers of erasing Hope's identity as a mother, effectively rendering her single and childless in the eyes of the audience. The debate has sparked broader questions about how motherhood is portrayed on the show and whether Hope's character is being unfairly maligned for narrative convenience. Paris, Thomas, and the new family dynamic. Meanwhile, the Paris-Thomas-Douglas triangle has added fresh complexity to the story. Paris Buckingham, once a supporting character, has taken on a more prominent role as Thomas's fiancée and Douglas's stepmother. With Thomas and Paris planning their wedding in Paris, Douglas has started calling Paris Mom, raising questions about his bond with Hope and whether he still sees her as his mother. This shift has been both jarring and poignant. On one hand, it reflects the reality of blended families and the challenges of maintaining long-distance relationships. On the other, it highlights Hope's absence from her son's life, fueling the perception that she has neglected her maternal duties. Some fans speculate that Thomas may be orchestrating this dynamic to elicit a reaction from Hope or to manipulate Douglas's loyalties. Hope's struggles and priorities, career versus family. Hope's preoccupation with Forrester Creations has been a major plot driver in recent months. After being fired by Steffi and seeing her fashion line, Hope for the Future, cancelled, Hope found solace and strategic partnership in Carter Walton. Together, they orchestrated a daring coup to seize control of the company, believing they were rescuing Forrester Creations from stagnation and internal strife. This bold move, however, came at a personal cost. Hope's focus on corporate intrigue and her romance with Carter have further distanced her from her children. Critics argue that she has prioritized ambition and revenge over her responsibilities as a mother, while supporters contend that she is simply trying to reclaim her agency and secure a future for herself and her family. The Coup fallout, power, betrayal, and redemption. The aftermath of the Forrester Creations takeover has been nothing short of explosive. Carter, once the loyal COO, now finds himself racked with guilt over betraying Ridge and Steffi Forrester. Spoilers suggest he may be considering an apology and even drafting new paperwork to return control to the Forrester family. Hope, meanwhile, is blindsided by Carter's change of heart and struggles to reconcile her ambitions with the fallout from their actions. Brooke Logan, ever the matriarch, has urged Hope and Carter to take responsibility and make amends. The tension between personal ambition and familial loyalty is at the heart of this storyline, with each character forced to confront the consequences of their choices. The emotional toll, Hope's internal conflict. Beneath the surface, Hope's journey is one of profound emotional struggle. Her relationship with Carter, the betrayal by her mother Brooke, and the loss of her children's daily presence have left her feeling isolated and vulnerable. The coup may have given her a sense of empowerment, but it has also exposed deep fractures in her personal life. Analysts suggest that Hope's current arc is a meditation on the costs of ambition and the difficulty of balancing career aspirations with family obligations. The show's writers appear to be setting the stage for a dramatic reckoning, in which Hope must choose between her quest for power and her need for connection and redemption. Invented insights. What if Hope reclaims her role? Imagine a future episode where Hope, confronted by the consequences of her actions, decides to travel to Paris to reconnect with Douglas. Perhaps she arrives unannounced, only to find that Douglas has grown close to Paris and feels conflicted about his loyalties. This emotional reunion could serve as a catalyst for Hope's redemption, forcing her to confront her shortcomings and recommit to her children. Alternatively, the show could explore a storyline in which Hope and Paris are forced to work together for Douglas's sake, navigating the complexities of co-parenting across continents. Such a plot would allow for nuanced character development and offer a fresh perspective on modern family dynamics. Detailed analysis, the broader implications. The current storyline raises important questions about motherhood, ambition, and the nature of redemption. Hope's journey is emblematic of the challenges faced by many working parents, who must constantly navigate the tension between personal fulfillment and familial responsibility. The show's willingness to tackle these themes, albeit through heightened drama, reflects its enduring appeal and relevance. Moreover, the power struggle at Forrester Creations serves as a metaphor for generational conflict and the shifting dynamics of leadership in family businesses. Hope and Carter's coup is not just a bid for control, it is a statement about the need for change and the dangers of complacency. Yet, as the fallout demonstrates, such change often comes at a steep price. Conclusion: what's next for Hope Logan? As we look ahead, the big question remains, will Hope find a way to balance her ambitions with her responsibilities as a mother? Will she mend her fractured relationships and reclaim her place in her children's lives? Or will the pursuit of power lead to further isolation and regret? One thing is certain, The Bold and the Beautiful continues to captivate audiences with its blend of high-stakes drama and emotional depth. Be sure to tune in for the next twist in Hope Logan's journey, and keep the conversation going in the comments below. Stay tuned to B&B Spoilers channel for all the latest updates, analysis, and behind-the-scenes insights on your favorite soap.